working together in the factory, yeah, it was very demotivating. Like we're getting paid like $2 per hour there. And at some point, I just decided that I don't want to.
You can certainly grow an e-com store and you can market hard and you can be smart, but then there's always going to be some other brand that's just going to be able to do the exact same thing.
The biggest mistake that I see most businesses are making is that they're expecting that just because they have the product, just because they have like very nice branding, very nice website, the customers will buy. And customers are so skeptical. So you have to just really be like 2020, 2021, we would just run Facebook ads profitable. Now, like most companies that you see, like especially successful companies that are operating on a scale, like they're most likely.
But he goes, the single biggest skill set you can have in your business is right, everybody, welcome to this very special session. I'm super honored to have an old friend of ours and an e-commerce genius, Mr. Alex Fedotov. Alex, how you doing? You can hear me?
Hey guys, yeah, thank you for having me.
Excellent, excellent. Good to be here. Good to be here with you. We've also got Chris on the call here with us. So today we're going to be discussing lots of really cool things. Alex's background, as much as he wants to share, right? But also how he got into e-commerce, how it all started for him. And we'll be talking deeper about scaling, right? About the biggest or the challenges faced by e-commerce brands and businesses who want to sort of scale beyond the seven-figure level and push towards, eight figures and beyond. And some strategies, some ideas, and also the future of e-commerce, because Alex is such an expert in the field. Super well respected. He teaches this stuff. He's doing this stuff himself, and he's become a bona fide legend. And we were just at his event in Dubai, which was unbelievable, by the way. Alex, you had how many people did you have in the room? Over 100 e-commerce brands?
230.
230. Wow, it was incredible, really inspiring, and it was great to see you, lead that community and continue to do that. So, really honored to be here with you, Alex. So we can kick it off. Do you wanna start with just how you got into this space within in e-commerce? I think it would be quite inspiring for people, regardless of the stage that they're at. If that's cool, that's right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I'm originally from Ukraine, and the reason I got into like the whole e-commerce and online space is because I was broke and wanted to make money, and me and my wife we moved to Poland. We were working together in the factory, and it was very it was very demotivating. Like we're getting paid like $2 per hour there. And at some point, I just decided that I don't wanna do this anymore. Like I didn't know, like I didn't have a plan. I didn't speak English. Didn't have any skills. But I just decided that I don't want to work on that factory anymore. And so one day I just quit. And just kind of started looking through different things that I could do to make money. And specifically, I want to make money online because I was in Poland back then, and I didn't like to work like locally. Like I wanted to work with more like kind of US audience, like people that had more buying power, that were paying more. And I got into freelancing as my first like step. So I signed up on all these platforms and started kind of offering my services. I didn't know what services to offer, so I offered basically everything. Like I was an expert in like conversion rate optimization, like Facebook ads, Google ads. Like I would just like change my profile every few days and see what would resonate with people. And gradually I started getting like more and more projects. Initially as a VA, I still have my profile like on Upwork. It says like $8 per hour or something.
We might try and hire you.
Yeah. And then eventually I got exposed to like I found you guys, and that was a tremendous like learning experience. Like working with you guys like exposed me to the possibilities of like working online. I didn't even know like that was possible. Like you guys had the whole team on Slack.
Yeah, and just to quickly interject as well, is like we found Alex through his Upwork profile, looking
That's what
for
I was joking
experts, I
about.
think, on paid ads or CRO, and that's how we found him.
Well, we could afford him back then, just about. We can't afford him now, right? But no, I mean, and I'll just say, people talk about the hustling spirit, hustler mentality. It's a big thing people discuss. But I think that is one of the greatest examples of true hustler spirit. Someone who couldn't speak English, working in a factory, having dreams of working with people in the US and not knowing how to do it, right? I mean, that's incredible. So sorry, carry on, Alex.
Yeah, man, thank you. And I think it's, everything in life, like you can get if you just like don't overthink it. And because I was so desperate, like I wouldn't overthink it. And I would just apply for different jobs and just kind of like adapt on the go. And yeah, when I started working with you guys, like got me exposed to like the whole like online space, like different opportunities there, like that you can build like a company pretty much from wherever you are, like in the world, and have it like run fully remotely. And so, and then having like also exposed to like e-commerce, like because some of the people that I worked in the past were like in e-commerce space. And so I started my first like drop shipping stores. Like seeing what Chris, you actually inspired me to do that. Like I remember we had a conversation with Chris, and Chris is like, hey, you can make $10,000 a month like doing drop shipping. And I'm like, $10,000 a month. I want to do that. And so I started digging into it and started, I mean, not it didn't work out like right away. It probably took like good like 6 months, but then it started to pick up and um over time I just decided to go all in on it. And we've our business has evolved. Like so we've done e-commerce, like pretty much drop shipping initially until 2022, 2023. After that, like kind of the COVID was very good for e-commerce. And then it's kind of like started to, slow down. So 2021, 2022, 2020, like it was like you could sell anything online. It was so good, like from online businesses. But then it just started,
You sold a few brands in that period, like one or two brands, right?
Yeah, smaller exits, like few $1 million. But yeah, like and then like we also made like good profit during that time frame. But then just overall, like I think the biggest thing that we have right now in any like online space in e-commerce is just the skepticism that people have because there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people selling the same products, and I think it's crucial for every brand to know like how they can differentiate from other people because it's like it's very easy to launch Shopify store. It's very easy to, all of the apps, everything is so easy to use. Like everyone can launch Facebook ad like today. Like if you're brand new, you have no experience whatsoever, but actually knowing how your product is different from other people. And most spaces are very competitive. Like no matter what niche you're in, no matter what product you're selling, there's probably 100 competitors selling very similar products. So knowing how to communicate the value of your product and how to differentiate your product from other people selling the same product, I think is one of the biggest, skill sets that you can have as online entrepreneur or e-commerce entrepreneur.
Yeah, for absolutely. How did you manage to do that? If you say that, three big things that you did in order to differentiate yourself and how somebody might be able to implement that, right? What would you say?
For sure. I mean, for me, like learning direct response, like copy. For example, we're utilizing like VSLs in our marketing. So, like we're educating customers a lot about their products, how our products are different. We're using we just sign up with a dermatologist, like
Mhm.
who's because we're in the beauty niche. So we should sign up with dermatologists to add, more credibility to the products that we are selling. On the product development side, we are including ingredients that also have like scientific studies. And so it's kind of like the way I think about it is you have different like small like selling points about your product. So for example, it could be an ingredient that has scientific studies. It could be dermatologist or person with authority that you can have, let's say, on your website that speaks to the credibility of your product or just says good things about it. So now when customers go through all of those like marketing materials, either it's ads, landing pages, advertorials, they kind of like click the boxes, right? Like, is this scam? No, okay, because these people say good things about the product. Oh, dermatologist. Oh, it has scientific studies. Oh, it also has these ingredients that other products don't have. Oh, it also has this one ingredient that other products don't have, and it's also like with proven quality because it's sourced from a specific place that other products are not sourced from. And so all of those things kind of like a small selling points that lead customer to a sale. And the biggest mistake that I see most businesses are making is that they're expecting that just because they have the product, just because they have like very nice branding, very nice website, the customers will buy. And customers are so skeptical. So you have to just really be like selling your products hard and use every little advantage to your favor.
It's almost like the way I think about it, as you described it, like a differentiator stack. You know, it just stacks one on top of the other. I think that's really powerful.
Yeah,
I
and you
appreciate
see
that.
you see a lot of brands. It's like they try and differentiate through their marketing as
Yeah.
well. And so I've had a look at the product which Alex is talking about. Um, and I look at the product and go, this product is different. You look at it and you instantly know it's something like unique on the market that's got its own reasons why it's more effective, why it's good, And so he has all the marketing in place, but then the actual product itself also speaks to itself. And so, you know, you can certainly grow an ecom store and you can market hard and you can be smart, but then there's always going to be some other brand that's just going to be able to do the exact same thing. It's like literally you can copy someone's ad account, run the same things, copy their landing pages, in a week you're doing the exact same thing. But if you make, an actual strong product that's got a good story and a good reason behind why it's effective, like you bring in the dermatologist, it's got really strong ingredients that are research backed, sure, someone else can come up with the same stack of ingredients, but one, you did it first, so you're the inventor of that. And then if you're careful of how you source the ingredients and the quality and how you present that info, it also gives you that edge.
Yeah, but we talk about this, right, Chris? In SaaS as well, it's a case of if the product's good enough, then you don't have to go crazy on your marketing, right? I mean, you should always market well and efficiently, and in the right way. But if the product's strong enough, then the marketing will take care of itself. But most people, like, just they don't focus on product at all, and they just spend a lot of time, money, effort on marketing. But then and we see that if it's over marketed, there's got to be we get suspicious about the product. So I think it's the overlap's definitely there. It's really
And
interesting.
and another aspect I would say like 100% the product. So the product has to be very good, right? Like you have to be thinking about your product and how it's different. Maybe you can add some unique ingredients or unique features working with your suppliers to differentiate the product itself. And then on the marketing side, I think in like last probably 2-3 years, the diversification of marketing channels has become just like mandatory. Like you can't just have like 2020, 2021, we would just run Facebook ads profitable. Like we would have like 2-3% customers repeat, returning customers rate. Like so customers basically wouldn't buy more than one time for the most part from us. And we were still making money. And we were just like advertising on Facebook for the most part, spending a lot of money there profitably. Now, like most companies that you see, like especially successful companies that are operating on a scale, like they're most likely like losing money on Facebook, for instance. Like they would run their ads at like 0.8, 0.5 return on ad spend. Because I see a lot of those ad accounts. I see the data, I talk to people. And so they would lose money there, but because they're creating the like awareness, because of the multi-channel strategy, like they would have, let's say, Amazon, they would have, organic, they would have, some people go heavy on like let's say TikTok shop, like they would stack all of these marketing channels. So the same way, like Jay, you mentioned, like stacking all of these like little advantages about your product and all its features and every selling unique selling point that you have, also stacking marketing channels. I think that is the way to build truly sustainable business these days, because it's not as easy. Like the competition on ad platforms is high. Like no matter where you look, the competition is so high. So you have to stack each one of those things to your advantage.
Yeah, so there's a couple of learns there. So I mean, one, you make the product better, it's going to be easier to sell, and then also you're going to get more repeat orders, right? So you're not going to get a 2 to 3% rate of, you know, people buying more stuff. It's going to be a bit higher, 5, 10, 15, you know, maybe even beyond that. And so that's going to make things way easier, because then, you know, you can spend more on ads, and it's really whoever can spend the most on ads wins, right? That's you know, one of the key things. And then the other learn is obviously then if you're bringing them in on one channel, then people are, I guess, they're present on multiple channels. And if you bring them in on one channel, you know that they're interested. They've shown some interest already, because you might advertise to 1 million people, and, you know, get maybe 1% or 2% of those actually click to the landing page, right? And then a certain percent might click a bit further and maybe, you know, consider purchasing or look at other pages, things like this. And then a percent of them who actually purchase. But that's data. You've got who purchased, who was a little bit interested, who was, you know, very interested. And then I assume this is part of what you do, is then target them on those other channels. And so, for example, TikTok is probably much cheaper than Facebook. So you target them on TikTok, plus you're retargeting. So you tend to get like a little bit better rates when you retarget them than with a cold audience, plus it converts better. So then your ROAs on the TikTok advertising, I assume they might be, you know, 2x or 3x. Is that kind of the case of what's happening?
Yeah, exactly. So for us, I'll give you an example with like one of our brands. Like we've added Amazon probably about 2 months ago, and there is like 20-30% of customers that would never buy, or full customers. Let's say you take United States, like let's say just illustration purposes, 100 million customers that are potential buyers, like 20-30% of those, or maybe even more, that would never buy anywhere else but Amazon. So if you advertise on your Shopify, it doesn't matter how good your ads are. It doesn't matter how good your landing pages are. You might have like all of the social proof. You might have like all of the doctors, like all of the influencers talking well about your product. People would simply not buy from your website because they don't trust it. They only trust Amazon because Amazon created this massive amount of trust. People know that they can return the product. People know that they can exchange the product. They can, like, it's just very seamless user experience. They also have all of their addresses saved, so they don't have to type it again. So it's very seamless customer experience. And so when people see our ads, you know, they would go to Amazon and buy from there. And so we started, you know, scaling Amazon. Like right now, Amazon is about $10,000 a day in sales, just like basically organically. And so it's that ecosystem kind of like syncing, like you kind of reverse engineer how your customers think and how they're making decisions. Many people would go to Google. Like many people, it's like, okay, they see the product. Okay, it seems good. I kind of like it, but it's like, let me do some extra research. And so they go to Google.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
so
this is one of the key things, like which we do as well. So, you know, we often, I mean, we handle like from the organic side, but our first part is like putting ourselves in the mind of someone who wants and maybe knows about the product, but also someone who's never heard of the product, but is a very likely buyer of that product, how they would initially come across it and discover products like this, right? So they might have seen an ad and then they go search for the brand, the ingredients, right? Or other things. They might have read about it because it's been covered in the media of like maybe a certain ingredient or a certain thing or a certain trend. And you start to reverse engineer, like what are the steps of like research that they go through before they buy? There's this big journey before someone buys. And when you think about it, say if you just run Facebook ads, it's a small proportion of people will see an ad and then buy. It used to be more, say during the pandemic, because people were bored at home, right? So You know, they see an ad, they make some impulse purchase, but you know, that works for some products, doesn't work for all. But many people, most people, if I see an ad on Facebook, the first thing I do is go to Amazon, right? So I do like
Yeah.
exactly what you say is I go, let me go check this product and other similar ones like it on Amazon. And then you start to get a feel. And it's like, oh, well, that ad was great. It got me interested in this particular solution, but I'm going to go with this other alternative. So we also like to poach a lot of traffic from big brands that, you know, you have some huge brands that, you know, they're spending hundreds of millions per year on advertising, you know, tons on Facebook ads, tons on, you know, TV and all of this stuff. And there's huge amount of brand search, massive amount of brand search. And so we like to intercept that with organic when people are doing their research on Google, on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube. You know, people are searching through and checking out that stuff. And, you know, for example, on Google, it's quite straightforward. If they search, if they see a product, they're going to go maybe do some searches like the brand. They might do some comparisons. And so you just publish topics on that. People on, say, TikTok and YouTube, they might search, but also if they say they go to the actual channel of the brand, you know, they go to the TikTok account, they check out some of the posts, they've shown an interest in that. So what's the TikTok algorithm going to do? It's going to send them more content like that. And so if you have content about that brand related, right, then it potentially shows up in their feed, right? And so this is, you know, how you can tap into that as well. So this idea of like hitting people across multiple channels, both on paid and organic, is, I think, is a big thing. And I expect that has improved your margins significantly, right?
Oh, yeah. And I think that is pretty much like, so if you think about like, let's say Facebook, you know, it's getting squeezed and squeezed and squeezed, right? Like CPMs go up like year after year. CPCs, like, because there's more people coming into the place. There's so much ad inventory.
Well, the barrier to entry, like you mentioned as well, is so low. Anyone can
Yeah.
just bang, you know, start up an account.
Yeah.
Those
Very
nuclear
low.
bunkers in Hawaii get expensive, right? So Facebook's got to make some money.
Yeah.
And I like what you said. I love this. It's basically kind of just understanding like what are the steps the person goes through. Like I was even like trying to reflect on my own behavior. Like you said, it's like you see the product and then, okay, what are the reviews about the product? Okay, the ads look good, like and it's well done. It's like very good creative. It's very good landing pages. Like the product, it seems to be like it's amazing. But it's like I still don't trust it because like maybe I made some bad purchases in the past, right? I'm skeptical. Like I don't know. Maybe they're like, okay, let me check some reviews. And then you go either Google, you go Amazon, like and so really understanding that process and reverse engineering the steps that each consumer goes through to make purchasing decisions, I think it's one of the most important skill sets that every entrepreneur needs to have.
Yeah, I mean, but we missed one bit though, right? We missed the third piece, which is, and I do this because I forget and I get busy. Now, I've still remembered my problem though. I might not remember the brand, but I still have to buy that hiking bag that's got that straw, that has that color. And so where am I going to go, right? It's you're going to research, you know, on different channels. Obviously, we mentioned Google as one of them. And I think that's so interesting that you mentioned that. Is that diversification?
But this is so conflicting with really good advice that I got years ago from Neil
What's
Patel,
that?
right? So I'm going to throw
Oh,
this
really?
one here. I think it was from Neil Patel. Um, and I've had this from multiple people, which is when you're starting out, stick with one channel because trying to learn all these different channels is going to be really difficult. And I think, you know, Alex, I think you recommend the same thing. It's like it's really good for people, say, to start with Meta. But then, you know, you quickly begin to realize that, okay, you can get started that way. It's enough maybe to get you to a certain level, but you're going to saturate very quickly. It's going to become too competitive when you try and go for a broader audience. And that's where you need to bring in all of this multi-channel stuff, you know, doing stuff, you know, ads on other platforms, retargeting, listing stuff on Amazon, doing organic and all of these things. And then it gets really overwhelming, right? To keep up with all of that stuff. So how have you handled that and managed that? You know, is it just that you're crazy smart and work like crazy, or have you got some other way that you've managed to stack these channels?
Yeah, great question. I think at some point, you know, entrepreneurs can get to a certain level. Like right now, with all of the AI tools, with everything that's like available, it's easy to get business to like $100,000 a month, even a few $100,000 a month, even if you do it everything by yourself. It's very easy these days. Like that's just my observation, like seeing a lot of people, like seeing what's possible. But if you want to go from that like 7-figure level to 8-figure level, everything will come down to the quality of your team and quality of the systems that you have in your business. So it's like there's 24 hours in a day, right? AI tools, like different things can kind of like speed up the process, but there is simply just so many things you can do. And so finding great people that can take over like parts of your business that maybe you're pretty good at, but maybe they can do it even better. And just kind of like gradually like delegating and like outsourcing those things to people that are like specializing in let's say specific like ad channels or specific initiatives or having like specific departments in the business that they can take over. And I mean, that's I think one of the most valuable skill sets you can acquire. Like if you think
You
about
you
Elon
always
Musk,
you always seem to know someone who knows how to solve a certain thing, right? If it's a TikTok organic expert, or if it's, a meta ads expert, or if it's, a legal team for Ecom, you've got someone who you can recommend, right? You've got
I got
Rolodex.
great mentorships. I learned from the best like you. So I think it's yeah, exactly. So I think kind of developing your network, like being in the right communities, in the right network of individuals, so you can find, okay, who's the best person who can do this part? Who's the best person who can do this part? Then also like getting better like with in-house hiring, because some tasks you can outsource to some great like service providers and vendors, and some things you have to build in-house and have in-house team. I think the best model is probably like a hybrid where you have certain things you outsourcing, certain things you have in-house. But that is like a different like level of growth. And I think for a lot of people, it's very uncomfortable because most entrepreneurs starting the business by themselves and just through like pure grind and hustle, they get businesses certain level. And so sometimes it's very hard for them to let things go or to find someone who will do their job like as good as themselves. And so that is like a totally different like skill sets kind of like set that they have to acquire. But at the same time, that is the one that gives the most leverage. Like if you think about like Elon Musk, he doesn't build like Teslas himself. Like he runs like several companies simultaneously. And the only reason he's able to do that is because he has teams, right? There's teams of people. There's like people that are responsible for many different projects. So if you want to achieve like bigger level of scale, like acquiring like leadership skills, becoming better as someone who guides people, directs people, empowers people, incentivizes people, and just builds that kind of like a machine. I think it's yeah, probably the most valuable skill set in a business, because you might personally suck. Like I personally, if I would write copy myself, it would be like 5 out of 10. But if I can bring in, and I did like several like great copywriters to my team who are like 8 or 9 out of 10. Now, like the leverage that I have, I don't have to write the copy myself. They're writing the copy. I also bought back some of my time because I don't have to do it myself. They're also using AI tools, which makes them even more productive. And so I think at some point, especially for people that want to like grow their businesses, it's just mandatory kind of like mindset shift that you want to basically go from kind of like operator executioner to more like a leader and connector. Like you bring the right people on board, you incentivize them, you motivate them, you give them all of the right resources, and you kind of like drive that ship like kind of and give them guidance and direction, but you're not necessarily doing all of those things by yourself.
No, no, 100%. That's a great point. We're going to wrap up in a second, but it just reminds me of a quote from, that's what I was looking at here, from Ben Horowitz. He wrote The Hard Thing About Hard Things, after his billion-dollar exit. But he learned a lot. He went through a lot of shit. He could have gone bankrupt, came back up. But he goes, the single biggest skill set you can have in your business is knowing how to recruit properly. Having a
Mm.
clear process. And recruitment isn't just the finding, it's the training, it's the processes, and it's the putting them in a position where they can actually flourish. And then knowing how to manage their egos when
And
they
that's
think they're too.
and it's repeated so much by people who run successful businesses. Like you say, Elon Musk
Um,
repeats that sort of thing. Steve Jobs was relentless
yeah.
about finding great talent.
But it's almost an afterthought for a lot of businesses until they realize that to get to that 8 figures and beyond, it's an important step. But anyway, I think we'll have to wrap it up. Alex, thank you so much, man. Again, I really wanted to have you here. It's been a great journey with you from the days of, shooting Facebook ads in Malta. Remember those days in the
Oh
baking
yeah.
sun? And we're holding like the laptop up as a teleprompter to where you've got to now. It's just an inspiration, bro. And it's great to have a conversation like this.
Thank
So
you,
thanks,
guys.
Chris, as well for being here.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
go ahead.
Thanks, Alex. Really appreciate it. Keep on rocking.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Alex. Take care. Cheers, guys.
Hey, if you like this video with Alex Fedotov, who's crushing it in the ecom space, then you are really going to like our video on 9-figure product sales page designs, right? So these are ecom brands with incredible sales page designs that convert really well. And so this is a video with a conversion rate optimization expert, Carl Weische. And so I recommend you jump in and check this video out if you want to see how to design a page which truly converts.